can train that. That's obviously just learning how to hit with it. There's a number of different sort of set forms within the Wu-Dang stick training methods. Some of them are solo, some of them are two-person methods.
Well, they are quite short. I mean, you know, how many movements?
Yeah, well,
they're not like entire katas.
No. This one I'm going to show you is, I think it's, what is it, the number 2. It's either number 2 or number 3.
This all looks very much like Dao forms and Dao movements, like broadsword movements. Even just kind of hitting here.
Oh yeah.
Are they related or?
Well, the Wu-Dang has a Dao, so I would assume, yeah. I mean, the same bloke invented it, so obviously he had the same body mechanic. Yeah. The only major difference would be, of course, with that movement. Of course, you would have more of a obviously a slicing action to that kind of action. But yeah, it's the same sort of basic body mechanic. Yeah, so the two-person forms, the first 4 sort of thing, they start off fairly simple. I think this is number 2 that I'm going to show you. It's, what is it, 1, I don't know, 5 movements, 4 or 5 movements in it, so it's quite short, so it can just give you an idea of, rather than, that's given us a good idea of the way we hit with the stick, because this you're working with 2 people and striking to the head, so you've got to slow it down a bit when you're learning it. But it'll give you an idea of, the actual application to things that we do. Yeah, as you go on, some of the other ones that, I think, I don't know, there's about 8 of the first set, and then there's some other ones, there's a whole bunch of different ones. As they go through, they do get longer, and you have to start having like 3 or 4 people attacking you. It's still a set sequence, of course, you're not just having people slam into you, but it's a set sequence to learn the body mechanics. So, you would do the first, you'd maybe throw a swing strike, I might go bang, bang or something, then something would come here, bang, bang, and it's a set pattern, but you're dealing with, rather than doing a 2-person training method, you're doing a 3-person training method or 4-person. So they get longer and more complicated, obviously. Okay, this basic one, the Wu-Dang stick fighting methods, most of the methods within it, obviously they work against a stick as well, but for the most part, we're assuming the main principle behind all the applications to it are against an edged weapon as opposed to stick on stick. Obviously they're going to work against stick on stick, but the sort of principle behind it is that if this is a stick, I could do a movement by where maybe I just glanced it and come in here, because I'm not in danger of this stick if it's actually a stick. No, I need to hit it, so it'll cut the stick up. Basically, the different principle being, if this were a stick, I could use a movement by where, maybe if you're poking or something, I could do just like a very light glancing blow and put all my power into the head. If this is a sword, I don't want it here, obviously. If it's a stick, it's not going to do me any damage being there, because I know he's got to pull it back before he can hit me, if I've just got my guard there. So most of the principles behind it, as opposed to me, just doing this, sliding up the stick, the movements would be something more like that. That's the principle behind it. So we're assuming an edged weapon, because that's obviously more dangerous. And if you can defend against someone with a knife or something, then if he's got a stick, you can still obviously defend against that. All the strikes to the stick that we do, we have to obviously train it on the stick, but in your mind, that's where your strike is. Of course, if you had, in this day and age, no one's going to attack you with a spear or something, but if you happen to have something longer, then of course, you can't reach the wrist, but even at this length, don't think hit the stick. If he's going to try to hit me, he's got to come close enough to get my centre, in which case, I'm close enough to get his wrist. So I'm going to, he's not holding the stick anymore. If I've done that, what we just did there, across his wrist, he's not holding the stick or the knife. That's the basic principle with any edged weapon attack. Don't sort of put your guard out like this, because obviously he's going to cut your wrist off, of course. Just, obviously keep your guard in here, so he has to come close enough to you to get your centre, so that I'm close enough to get his wrist. Same with especially any long weapon. If someone comes at you with a baseball bat or something, they've got to come close enough, like if this were a baseball bat, I've got to come close enough to you to hit you in the head. In which case my hands are close enough to you to block my hand. You don't want to block the stick. When I'm coming up with your baseball bat, it'll break your arm. But if you hit my hand, even if you've got an empty hand, you hit my wrist and that'll take all the power out of it. So obviously any longer weapon, that's the principle. Don't stick your hand out with a baseball bat your hand off. Keep it in here, he's got to come closer. Okay, just a short form. Starts off with just a poke into the stomach, like that. You're just starting like that, I'm just going to block it down like that. But again, I'm not just touching it, I'm bumping it. So he comes in with the poke, Nearly got your toe. That's the movement. So to bump down. I'm not going like this time. I'm not turning the stick down like this. I'm not flicking it. It's more like, it's still got that light action on it, but again, don't go like that with your stick. Keep it in this kind of action, because that's going to be your follow-up shot, like that. So just start like that. You can even have a practice of it, just hitting the stick just like that. Try and move your body. You have a slight angle. You're not aiming to get it right over there like that, but you want to be slightly on this side of his body, sort of thing. So your angle on your stick has a slight angle to it, so that obviously his weapon stays on that side, as opposed to coming that way. So slight angle on the stick, just there, and but again, see how I'm tapping it. I'm not staying with him. I don't never want to stay with him with anything that we do. You just whack it, and that's going to be your follow-up, straight across the temple there. That strike by itself. So don't just hold it sort of straight there. So that'd be your strike. It's kind of like a back fist, like that. But with your stick. I don't want that to hit you in the head. There we go. Do it this way. Hit him in the head. So you whacked him down there, and that's what you're trying to get. So it's that same flicking action. You've bumped it down, and you're going like that. So that's coming straight across his temple, across here, and across here. So obviously be careful with this. Pull it short, but that's where it would be going. Or just there above the ear, gallbladder 8. Just there. Or just there, anywhere around here. You've got the whole gallbladder meridian that runs around here, so anywhere around there is going to be a good shot. If ever you get hit just about there, just above the tip of the ear, if it's a good thud and it knocks you to the ground, just go and see a doctor. Have a brain scan, because it's the old myth of the delayed death touch, but it's simply a little blood vessel just in there, and if you hit it, it's happened so many times, it's only just happened to Liam Neeson's wife.
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah. Yeah. And she just a light knock, but she died 3 days later because she didn't get to the hospital in time, just headache, aspirin, but the blood vessel had popped, filled her brain with blood. So that's where the old myth things